Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. I'm your humble host, Mr. David Knoll, also known as Hawkeye Two Feathers. And excuse me, I'm eating a donut. I greet you with the love and the honor of the infinite creator, and I continue to pray that each and every day, that each and every one of you will continue to learn how to accept and receive the knowledge, the healing, the wisdom, and the many blessings from the universe. Let me wipe the donut off on my face. Take Chloe. Which moon? So I did a video the other day. Oh no, I have become a new age channeler, and I have come to some very strange self realizations. Alexander, and we're coming up on a 20. Also, my dear friends. So I wanted to be here in plenty of time for that, of course. But I touched on some things. Happy New Year to y'all too, and shame on me for not saying that first. But Happy New Year to y'all. you know, me and my southern drawl down here. But I mean that, and I have been preaching and teaching that we need to make 2024, put as much positive energy into it as possible instead of all these folks with doom and gloom. It just, God, I'm so glad to still be alive and breathing. you know I had heart palpitations yesterday and was having difficulty breathing, and it was okay, but at the same time, today is a better day, and I'm really glad, that I'm still breathing and didn't have to go to the hospital or anything. I mean, so there are different folks who Saturnian, how are you? Happy New Year to you. It's good to see you. But I mean, so, for me, I've talked about my problems enough, I don't want to go there, but, I was like, yesterday was like, come on, breathe. You can do it. Come on, buddy. And today is like much easier, right? But my point to that is, though, that I couldn't cut firewood yesterday, but I did cut firewood today. And I got a fire back there in the heater tonight. So, there are times, sometimes you can't, and sometimes you can. or sometimes you can, and sometimes you can't. It works both ways. But in having this conversation the other day about channeling and so forth, and in having the conversation with whoever it was, I know Chloe, I think, was in on the conversation, and some other folks in the chat. And I was trying to explain, like, how do I feel how some other channelers are doing it, for example, and I was watching a lady today and trying to look at other channelers, and she was like, here, give me a minute. And she sat there and did her little thing, and I was like, how much firewood would could David chop if David could chop firewood? Well, some of the wood that I split was uh was pretty hard. This the oak tree I dropped out here, and there were a lot of limbs like this big around kind of thing, and which is fine to burn, and cleaning up the tree and walking up the to the top of the tree with my little electric chainsaw, battery powered steel chainsaw. But It's been down for about a month now, but it's still kind of green, which I haven't heard any popping. So there's enough, though there's enough water out of the wood to not, if there's too much water in the wood, it'll pop and snap, and you can hear it hissing. And better chainsaw so much easier. Well, not, I don't know. I'm not. I like my little battery powered one, but I've got two other real honest to God chainsaws, and there's something. If I'm cutting up a big tree, I want the big one. I want the I want the big one. The little one is okay, and as long as you don't push it, it has cut fine. I don't have any issues with the steel. I don't, and it's a little heavy, but for its size. Oh, ooh, I forgot about the 20 that quick. Now, shoot, shame on me. But no, the steel. I've always wanted a steel. I got a rebate on my taxes, and so I went down and bought it. And it'll cut for about 45 minutes, more or less continuous. And, the logs on it were about yay big around. So it cut right through them. So don't have any issues with it other than it's a little heavy. But, I should check and see how much heavier it is, if any, than my Roy B gas powered chainsaw. But anyway, so, but in this understanding of self hypnosis, and I was chatting with a friend of mine the other day, and I said, self hypnosis is really important, to reach the subconscious. And he was like, well, no, I don't believe that. You do this. And I was like, hang on, before you go misjudging me with this thing, let's do a 20. I started doing self hypnosis long time ago. Now, most of you know that I'm 71 years old. And so I have been practicing this since I was like 15, 16 years old. So I've been doing this for a good 60 odd years, 55 years easy, self hypnosis. I do this before I sleep. Anyone else? See, that's what I used to do, Saturnian. So good for you. So I'd lay in my bed, and I would, back in the day, and if I feel the need, I would still do it. But I would grab I would have different crystals. I'd have one crystal in the right hand. Well, this is my left hand, but left hand, right hand, and maybe one at uh, the top of my head in the bed. And I would meditate and then self hypnosis with these different crystals. Okay. And sometimes the crystals helped, and sometimes they were a hindrance. All right. So I would not suggest crystals all the time while doing the self hypnosis, although I'm thinking of having a crystal at the top of my head. Although, if you find the right combination, it can be spooky, and spooky good, and spooky weird, but spooky good if you get the right combination of crystals. Left hand, right hand, top of your head, or maybe one at your feet or something, if you really want to go there. So, but what is self hypnosis? Okay. And you say, well, why, and what's up with it, and why is it important? If you want to if you want to bridge between the conscious and the subconscious, the only way to do it, uh, people might argue with me, but I have, thought about this a bunch here recently, and also just kind of let it be. And I realized that, oh man, the self hypnosis is what has connected my conscious and subconscious. And so I realized the other day, I never used a thing but mine, no props. Yeah, this was years ago in trying to, do Will Crystal see one of the things that I wanted to do in my self hypnosis was that also helps you if you do it correctly. It will also help you to astral project because astral projection ain't much further down the line than self hypnosis. Okay. They're all in there together. All right. So, a deep meditation. Well, you don't want to go to sleep. All right. Crystals can be helpful. Yep. But you got to get the right ones. You got to make sure you got that you're tuned. And you might, and let me warn you with this, you might think you got the right crystals, and then you lay down to meditate and to do this, and you might find out this was a bad combination. So ask the crystals, tell the crystals what you want to do, okay? And then they will let you know if you got one in your hand and go, look, I want to meditate with you and this one before you lay down and try to do it, and say, listen, will you do this with me? Or you, and it'll jump out of your hands. It'll say, so, find those if you're going to use crystals. Now, I would suggest that you don't if you're first learning how to do this, okay? Because first you need to get comfortable and you need to learn what the procedure is. And then you can add things, all right? So, what's the best way? All right, now I have tried this, done this, used this, and the best way is to like lie in a bed, all right? And get comfortable, lie flat with your arms beside you, okay? Now, at the same time, it would be nice if you had something that you want to change about yourself. Now, for example, I want to, in my, I want to give myself a post hypnotic, well, I want to give myself a hypnotic suggestion. All right. And my hypnotic suggestion is I want to continue to quit smoking. All right. So I'm at a half a pack of cigarettes now. I want to go to I want to go to a quarter pack. I want to get to 5 cigarettes a day. All right. So that's my current situation. All right. So in my self hypnosis, I know this, I know this ahead of time. All right. What's Barry sending me of something? What are you sending me, Barry? Oh, well. So in my self hypnosis, I know already while I'm awake that I want to cut my um, cigarettes down. All right. That I know this before I start self hypnosis. So my subconscious mind already knows what I'm up to. The croaking, yeah, is from my cell phone. So my brain knows what I'm up to. It ain't a surprise. You follow me? So which is interesting, you try to surprise your brain. So hey Suzy Q, how you doing? Cosmic hugs and happy new year to you. Happy new year to all of you. So now you're gonna be lying flat, hands by your sides, and just get comfortable. Now, one of the things that tried over the years of your head crystal. Oh, okay. I don't know how to do it without messing up this, but okie doke. So And some night, maybe not now, but some night I'll talk about crystals and what might be better or worse for something, or maybe at the end of this. But anyway, there are very clear quartz crystals. There are smoky quartz. There are white cloudy quartz crystals. There is um, that purple stuff over there. I've sit here. It is like I always amethyst. I always forget to thank you, Chloe. I was sitting here going that purple stuff. God Almighty, every time I forget the name of it, amethyst. But so, depending, amethyst might be good for the top of your head. And if you point at the amethyst at you versus point the put the points away from your head, pointing away from your head, all right, versus pointing at you. And you say, well, what difference does it make? It makes a lot of difference. And then you could put a crystal on your forehead, for example. Or I have laid one right here on my chest, at different chakra points, all right, basically. So, but you're laying there, your eyes are closed, and start at your feet and relax yourself all the way up your legs and tell yourself, garnet, sapphire, but whatever, colors that are yours, whatever you feel comfortable, because I'm not going to tell you what crystals to use. All right. You're going to have to ask them, and they're not going to be the same ones every time, or should not be. You might have a favorite crystal, but they should not be the same crystals every time, because some crystals are just not appropriate for certain things, and they should tell you, the crystals, that is, like, well, I think I'm going to use this one, and it goes, nah, I don't think so, and put it down. Don't try to make the crystal work. There are crystals who will volunteer to help you. Okay, so they will help you if you ask them, you know. But if you say, well, I'm going to use that crystal over there, and you pick it up and you go, okay, you're going to work for me, and the crystal might go, no, 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 you got to be polite. Just saying, there's a lot to it. So but now that's the crystal part of it. So you're lying there and you are thinking as you're relaxing, um, what is my mantra? My mantra is, I want to cut my cigarette smoking from 10 to 5. So I'm working on my toes all the way up my ankles, and I'm thinking about that I'm doing a massage with my hands, and that I'm working my toes, my feet, and I'm pushing the blood from my ankles up my legs to my hips. All right. And so I'm visualizing that, and I'm feeling the relaxation moving up my legs, and you visualize it. And the more you do this, the more it's going to help you to relax. And in doing so, you're going to be more effective with your self hypnosis. Okay. Trust me. So, but as you're doing this, this is all trying to get relaxed. Shouldn't take but a couple of minutes, but the more that you focus yourself on pushing the blood out of your legs and up into your lower portion, and then when you get it to your hips, and then you start on your fingertips, and you can do one arm at a time if you want to, but while you're laying there, and you'll figure it out when you get there, whether or not you can do one hand or both hands at the same time. But then let work the blood up your arms all the way up here to your chest. And then as you get that, and then you relax yourself, And as you do so, then as you're relaxing, think in the back of your head that you're floating. I'm floating. I'm relaxing, and as I'm doing so, I'm floating. I'm pushing all the bad energy out of me, and I'm floating. So, but while you're doing this floating and relaxing, you're telling your subconscious, I want to quit smoking. I want to get, I want to drop to 5 cigarettes a day. Dave, you're every time you grab a cigarette now, you can say this out loud, which for me, it helps to say it out loud because then your brain hears it. If you were to go to a hypnotist, they would be saying it out loud. So it's all right for you to say it out loud. Pushing energy from the top to the bottom, from the bottom to the top. It's about how your blood circulates, okay? It's not a top to the bottom, but it is from the capillaries in your ankles and feet up your legs to push the old blood out, which is where the blood goes back to the heart. So you want to take the blood that may have pooled in your ankles and push that energy up your legs. Same thing with your fingertips. So it's about pushing not necessarily the energy, but the blood in your system gets caught in the capillaries in your fingers and in your wrist and stuff. So you want to move the blood in your system out of the capillaries and back into the system again. Okay. So you're moving it up your legs, you're moving it up your arms and into your torso. So it's a little weird trying to explain, that the energy that's in your torso goes back through your heart, but it does. And so that, while your arms and it comes into your chest, and then you allow your head to be, take in the oxygen and breathe and whatever, not necessary, maybe more like a vortex. So doing what Christians? Hey, Travis. So now, this should have, depending on how quick you are with learning how to relax, and it's a really good practice to use, I might add. So, but, hey, Travis, just saying they do it, who does it differently? I'm curious. But so in floating, in doing this, and this is sort of, you'll learn how to do this simultaneously. For me, I was having trouble. I was 2.5 packs a day back in the day. So as I'm learning how to float, I'm also wanting to learn how to come have my spirit come out of my body. So by doing this exercises with the blood and getting your spirit and feeling like you're floating, that your spirit will start to come out of your body. All right. And your brain is all nice and relaxed and everything. So now you're communicating with your subconscious. Why? Because your eyes are closed and everything is nice and hunky dory, and you're telling yourself, I want to stop smoking cigarettes. And every time I pick one up, I'm going to want to put it right back down. So, this is what you're thinking while you're doing this with your eyes closed and you're very calm and everything's nice, but you're talking with your brain to your subconscious while you're in this floaty state. And you say, well, what's that? What the hell's that got to do with this? I'm here to tell you, after all the years of doing different types of self hypnosis, which helps to meditate, which helps to facilitate um, astral projection, what I just described is basically for you to attain your spirit. Okay. But what I just realized here recently, within this last few days, is that it also helps me to stay in touch with my spirit guides. That being in touch with your awake mind, your conscious mind, and being able to have a conversation with your subconscious mind at the same time. And you say, well, Hawkeye, what the hell are you talking about? I do it all the time. Maybe you do, and maybe you don't. And I don't mean that weirdly, badly, or whatever, but if you can close your eyes and visualize and use your third eye, because by closing your eyes and visualizing, then that awakens the third eye. So by meditating calmly, by allowing your subconscious mind to wake up while your conscious mind relaxes, you're going to achieve kind of sort of a state of nirvana in a way, in that the two of them are chatting together. There is never really a difference in that conscious subconscious. But when I go to sleep, my conscious mind, it's out. My subconscious mind continues. So when you wake up, one of the tricks in the shaman deal is to, when you wake up and you're conscious again, it's to try to remember what happened in your subconscious mind. Well, in order for you to find out what's in the subconscious mind, you go into self hypnosis and you say, okay, I'm going to do my relaxation. I'm going to ask, all right, what did I dream about? What helped me to remember what was in my dream time? So you do this while you're meditating with this working and your subconscious working at the same time to find out what you dreamt about or what you went through. Because if you went to a hypnotherapist, they would put you to in this trance, all right, which is in this same spot. You're nice, relaxed, and you hear that they, and then the watch is going by or whatever, the pendulum, or just the voices, the repetition of the voice. And you can do the repetition of the voice. You can have a metronome sound in the background if you need, like a tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. Train your subconscious, yes, but it's also training your conscious. You don't, you, Here's the trick that I have found out, that after all these years of training my subconscious, I've been training my conscious mind at the same time, because it's the same thing, it's the craziness. And that's what, here in this last week, I'm like, oh my God, how did I learn how to do this? And I've learned how to do this. How how am I channeling the spirit guides? How can I hear them without going into a trance? It's because of the self hypnosis for the last 50 years plus, that my I don't need to go into. I'm sort of already in a trance in a lot of ways, because my conscious and subconscious have learned how to interact without me having to go into a trance. So, there are folks who I I wouldn't know how to go into a trance and do my channeling like I do with my folks. They're up yonder sitting there listening to me to see if I, if I muck up and screw up trying to explain this to you. But so I like my sleep, though my spirit world is, so to speak, what? Um so but it depends on what you want. So if you had dreams like last night and you woke up and you go, what the hell was that about? You really want to find out. You really want to go back into it. It's in your subconscious. So do your self hypnosis and tell your subconscious you want to replay. What did I dream about last night? Show me what I dreamed about last night. And so don't try to force it. You have to allow it to happen. All right. But in allowing yourself to do this, when you start learning how to connect with your subconscious consciously, which is like, it seems like it's a no brainer, but it takes practice because you have to be aware while you're conscious that this is going in, this is being recorded. you know, I'm, hey, Hawkeye, did you know that this conversation is being recorded for prostitution, for posterity? But so, yeah, but also there's a difference of the spirit speaking through the channel where you have something with spirit. But my point to this is that I'm trying to explain what I have seen with some of these channelers, and how could they get there? Um, to meditate, you shut your mind blabbering up. Absolutely, you know that's where I said, to work from your toes all the way up, and to push the blood up, like like you're doing a real um massage, you know. You can feel the blood coming up your legs and one come up the other leg, and by doing so you can really relax, which is really want you to do, if but you're going to, by doing this meditation and relaxation, you are preparing you and your spirit for astral projection, for just deep meditation, for, hey, Wire, how are you? Yeah, Happy New Year to you. So some dreams are just things that are remembered from the day, some are prophetic. Well, so when you learn how to, like, okay, what was that dream like? You're gonna know you want that dream that um it just, you dropped out of it and you woke up and you go, no, 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 no. What the hell was that, son of a bitch? you know, so that you can relax yourself and go back to that specific dream. You don't have to replay everything that went through the day kind of stuff. No, 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 no. So because you have control, you go, I want to my subconscious, I want to remember what that dream was about. Nothing else, and your brain will try to show you little pictures and movies and stuff, and you just have to learn how to go past that and go, no, that's not it. Okay, I wish to remember that little spot, and maybe it's about a baseball game. I don't know, something about a baseball. Help to remind me what that dream was. And so, but that's, you practice it. All right. But to my point about the conscious subconscious, by practicing this self hypnosis type of thing, and there are folks who need a metronome in the background. If you've got a clock that's loud, tick tock, or something, a piece of machinery running. You know, the I have I have used as a mantra uh, the refrigerator coming on and off. Or, you know, when I was in jail, there were certain times and there were noises within the jail through the concrete and stuff, you know. So I would meditate on those things, the noises. And as I've talked to you all about before, you know, about there's the chaos of things, and I'm thinking of in jail when there was all these noises, even in the middle of the night. In the chaos of things, there is a cacophony. There is actually, you can find a harmony. So, you know, find a harmony if it's something in your house, or, you know, or maybe, like I said, you can get an app, you know, with a metronome or something that's just a, and you don't want it to go real fast. You want it like tick tock, tick tock, about a more than 1 second per tick. Okay. A little longer, but you know, a Chinese what? Now, there are lots of ways to get in there, and there are a lot of other ways, I'm sure, that people will try to help you explain. A Chinese diesel heater ticked to run under the. That's funny. I like that. I hear high pitched noises. Yeah. Well, you know, and at different times in like at my age, my eardrums are different. So there are times when I can hear high pitch, and there are sometimes when it's like really low pitch. I hear that train a coming. Yeah, I ain't seen the sunshine since I don't know when. That's for sure. But you know, the clickety clack of a railroad track, you know, man, sometimes you might be able to put that in your head and hear it. But, and if you can hear it, if you can come up with a sound like if it was a railroad track and that that rickety rackety of the railroad track, if you could think that or imagine it, you know, maybe you live near a railroad track, but if you can imagine that in your own rhythm, then there's something about the imagination. When you really get your imagination rolling in with it, I don't know, it's more heavy duty or something. You can really click in with your spirit. And I mean, just yourself, not necessarily with your spirit guides, but I mean, just with yourself, you know. I hear that train a clickety clack and a clickety clack, and I'm relaxed and I'm floating. Try to go for the floating. Some other folks might disagree with me, and that's okay. But in the grand scheme of things, if you're nice and relaxed, if you can feel yourself floating just this far off of the bed, you ain't got to go anywhere, but just levitate. Go for that levitation feeling to where you don't feel the bed on your back. You just don't, you know, but you know it's there, and you know you're not like sailing off somewhere, but you know that you're just above the mattress. And in that, so that you're conscious and you're subconscious, because now you can control how you feel above the bed. I'm hovering just above the bed. I can feel myself light as a feather. I can feel myself listening to my subconscious. I can feel and I can see with my third eye. These are all things that you work together on. I know there'll be folks that go, "What you know?" So, but there are ways you can get there. Um, who's that? Non-duality. You can do things like counting. You know, you can count sheep if that's is like, you know, one potato, two potato, three potato, four, five potato, six potato, seven potato, or Remember, one potato, two potato, three potato, four, five potato, six potato, seven potato, or, if you're going around in a circle. But to the what you do, if you're having trouble, relaxing, then you can use that counting in the background, and you use your breath as you're counting. So you're trying to relax, you're pushing the blood out of your legs and so forth. And with that, you're becoming aware of your body. So you're breathing in and you're breathing out. And you're breathing in and out with the old and in with the new. And as I'm breathing, I'm pushing the blood up, and my brain can feel it, my body can feel it. I'm floating. And as I'm doing so, I'm I'm sitting here and pretty much kind of, floating around a little bit here right now. In that, you know, and I'm putting the suggestion in my head to cut back on my cigarettes even more. And every time I pull a cigarette out, I'm going to think twice before I light it, because I got a cigarette waiting over there and I'm doing this self hypnosis right now. So the self hypnosis, oh, it's a big word, but the self hypnosis, um, good love to you too, Saturnian. So the you don't have to be in a trance to hypnotize yourself, because the hypnosis part of it is in the repetition. Okay, I'm going to do better. I'm going to quit doing this and I'm going to do better. I decide that, and I'm driving down the road and I've decided that, I'm going to quit dipping snuff. I've decided that I'm going to quit chewing tobacco. I've decided that I'm going to quit whatever it is. Or not necessarily that I'm going to quit doing something. Oh, I have decided that I'm going to start doing something. I'm going to start, watching the clock better, or whatever it is that you decide that you want to do. I want to be a friendlier person and be more outspoken. that How do I do that, my friends? you know I want to be a better dog owner. I want to be a better cat lover. I don't want to, I don't want to shoot the neighbor's bulldog. I want to be positive in this world. Whatever it is. So you can be driving down the road and talk to your self-conscious, your subconscious, self-conscious, but that too. So, oh, somebody hurt my feelings today. Oh, somebody, teased me. I'm not going to let those kinds of things bother me. I need to stop this $450 a month cigarette habit. That's it. There you go. And I need to learn how to roll my own. I got tobacco down there with papers. So if I run out of cigarettes, I can roll my own. So, but I have 3 packs of cigarettes, and I've got a couple missing out of this one. But those 3 packs of cigarettes are 7 days. They're going to last me a week. You know, I'm not going to go to the store. I mean, if I should smoke them for whatever reason, and probably only if somebody comes over and I share them, which does happen. But if I run out, then I've just got plain tobacco down there that I can roll up if I really got to smoke. But with my heart condition, I'm really trying to do better. So you have to get that conscious, subconscious working together. You know, do I? Here's the deal. I don't really want to quit smoking. That's the deal. Okay, for me, I've been smoking for 60 years, for crying out loud. I mean, literally 60 years. I don't really want to quit, you know, but I have to convince myself that, hey, look, this is bad for you. And it is. And I've smoked for 60 years. But this, giving up this last little bit, if I could just, get a little bit of that that nicotine and get that little bit of smoking going on you know, and so far I'm not coughing at all. Some tin of, but so anyway, so the self hypnosis, when I, and there are several books out there and several methods, and I would, implore you to, implore, explore. I would say listen or read on somebody else's technique. But as I've been discussing here in getting into a meditative state and being able to bridge the gap with, your subconscious and your conscious, and then you can start doing a mantra as you close your eyes. Um, I'm going to do better tomorrow when I have to do something, or I'm going to, whatever it is that build your own confidence. I'm going to quit being I'm going to quit being so wimpy. I'm going to stand up for myself where I need to without my ego in the way. I'm going to stand up at, so you're giving your, hey Steve, how are you? So you're giving yourself positive reinforcement. And in that positive reinforcement, with your eyes closed in a good meditative state, and you're trying to float, and you're putting this really good positive energy into your system. And you believe it. You work it in, you become it, you know, and so that when you wake up and come back into the normal life, then every time I want to smoke a cigarette, then I look at it and go, man, maybe next time, you know, or whatever it is. Or you run across something and you're being a chicken shit. And so, somebody pushes you out of line and you go, excuse me, but I was standing here, and I was in line. Well, what are you going to do about it? Um, if it's some great big, humongous person and you're a little old teeny thing, you could kick them in the nuts and get back in line, or you could say that's just rude of you and get behind them or whatever. Or but at the same point, you don't have to just, well, man, you won't, and don't slink away. At least let them know that, hey man, that was rude. You know, well, I'm bigger than you and I'm taking over in line. Well, okay, but you're still rude. You know, not looking for a fight, but you can tell them, that was rude. So that's standing up for yourself without, getting into a fight and getting your ass whooped. But don't push it. You might get your ass whooped anyway. So, but anyway, so that's just a brief little bit of something. But in the self hypnosis, it's the repetitious that you save from your conscious mind to your subconscious. I'm going to do better. I'm going to blah, 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 blah. I'm not going to hate my mother-in-law. I'm going to find a way to, something. And so the other thing then is to put a trigger in. So like a trigger word, like every, it, you know, if I'm going to get mad or something, and if I start to get mad, and as soon as I start to holler, I'm going to go click and calm down. As soon as I start to raise my voice, I'm gonna bring it down a notch. As soon as I hear myself, so the trigger is as soon as I hear myself get loud, boom, you're gonna bring it back down again. I, how do I know this? Is because he used to holler a lot. and I have used this same technique myself. So, hey, Mark the Ark, how are you? Happy Thanksgiving, Happy New Year. This When you learn how to use this technique, and it's really not hard, but you believe it and you practice it, you can do it while you're awake. You don't have to go into a trance. You will just start finding a mantra that you can self hypnosis. Now, what what else that I have learned with this is that that's how I found out that I can connect and stay connected with my spirit guides, because normally they're in my subconscious. But if I am alert to my subconscious whilst I'm awake, then I that's how I can chit chat with my spirit guides. That's how I channel them, okay? Without going into a trance. So in seeing how this has like transpired for me in my, shaman journey, I had no idea that I was going to end up as being a new age kind of person thingy, spouting all this, law of one and everything. And it's like, but it's true. And I've learned it through not new age folk, but I've learned what I've learned that I pass on to you through the Native American and the through the shaman journey. And the fact that after all these years with the shaman journey, I listened to myself and, oh my God, now these other people, I'm judging what by what I'm saying from these three people I listened to the other day. And I'm thinking to myself, what they had to say was a lot without exactly what I've been saying, word for word in some instances. It's all good. But am I have no idea where these ladies are or how long ago the documentary was or whatever. Okay. But the fact that our collective thoughts were connecting with the quantum ether, okay, and that we're connecting with our spirit guides or channeling them or whatever we're doing it, and the message is the same coming out of the universe. That's what I find extremely good. However you get the information from the universe, but the fact that here were these three different people, three different styles of how they quote channel, but that the information was the same information I've been getting. And like, well, wait a minute now. So I'm always saying, accept and receive the knowledge, the healing, the wisdom, and the blessings from the universe. Why? Because there's knowledge out there. And in the quantum, which is, just like that, um, I'm going to hit this. I'm a little early, but we got a 20 coming up. So, but in this, though, in the quantum, there is this energy. In the quantum is this message. In the quantum is what we should be listening to and acting upon. The creator, the message from the great mystery, from the quantum, right? Every word spoken is supposed to be still out there in it. Right. So as we speak these words into the ether, right? that the vibration goes out there, right? So, and I believe that, but so, and that's what a lot of people have been saying, but to the point, Tesla as well. But so, but not only that though, there our spirit guides have spoken in the quantum to tell us which way to go, how to get down the red road, how to stay on the red path, on the how to stay, keep us from getting into the jungle. So how do we do it? You know, what effort does it take? Well, the effort is to listen to your subconscious while you're awake. We do it all the time, you know, to find your rhythm, to find your, to follow your instincts, right? So, but if you don't know how to do it, then closing your eyes and doing the meditation thing, like I just talked about, and learning how to listen to your subconscious at the same time and learn the difference. People say, well, wait a minute, I'm listening to my subconscious all the time while I'm awake. That's true, and that's part of the understanding. So it's when you close your eyes and you meditate that you start floating. That's why I used that word earlier. But that's why you find yourself floating with your eyes closed in a not necessarily in the dream time, but close. So by learning how to be in that dream time and still be awake without going to sleep, that's where your conscious and subconscious works together. And you say, well, this just sounds stupid. Okay. But I'm here to tell you that after all these years of practicing this, and it does take practice, but the practice of it is to, believe that it works, you know, believe that, I can meditate and I can lay on the bed and I can drift off and I can float and I can reach this without any kind of drugs or any kind of special anything. All I have to do is relax with intent and with a purpose. And you know, if I'm trying to get my brain to really remember it, then I'm going to speak it out loud. All right, Hawkeye, tomorrow you're going to remember to do this. Okay, Hawkeye, remember now. And I always repeat it at least 3 times. And so while I'm meditating and while I'm floating, I'm going to say it out loud what I need to do. And I'll repeat it as many times as I think I need to. So then I'll go to sleep, wake up tomorrow and go, come on, I remember what my mantra was last night. Time to get up, time to do it, time to act upon it, whatever it is that you're putting in your brain. So the self hypnosis works all the time if you need it to work. You know, I need to be positive tomorrow. I got a lot to do. You know, I need to regardless of how my back hurts, I need to get up tomorrow and cut some more firewood. And whatever the mantra is in my head. So, but I do that in that. So when I wake up tomorrow, I have left this subconscious conscious note in my head, like a post-it note, right? So, but big deal. Why does this matter? It only matters if you are trying to reach this state of mind. It only matters if you're trying to reach this nirvana kind of place. Because when you can get to that self hypnosis spot by just sort of just gliding into it, you've reached a state of constant meditation. I've talked about this to y'all. How do I do this? I don't know. How do I stay in a constant state of prayer? This is how. I've just been, they, with my friends showing me this is how, by the many years of self hypnosis. And now it doesn't mean that it takes you years. It's just that I have been practicing this for years. That's just, and without any awareness of what the muck I was doing. And I'm just going along and doing it. And every day I need to stop, like, lay in the bed and think of whatever positive thought, blah blah blah, self hypnosis. It it's so normal for me that I don't even have to stop and think about what I'm doing. It just is. So as you practice this yourself, as you practice, oops, almost 20, and as you practice this self hypnosis connection with your subconscious, it's going to become easier. And I'm telling you, just it's amazing how the brain can heal itself. Also, yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I've had several brain conditions right there, and I mean, hit with a hammer kind of brain condition. I used to be on antidepressants. They threw me in the crazy house for 3 days. They Baker acted me. People for a bunch of years said that I was crazy, and then I realized that no, they were crazy. But they had me on all these pills and everything. But I'd had several head concussions, and there for a while, my brain really was screwed up. I don't know necessarily whether I needed all of those drugs, but I absolutely needed the therapy. All right. And some of it was good therapy and some of it was crazy therapy. But crazy is as crazy does. Absolutely, Mark. So I've learned how to, be crazy here and, and to talk to the universe and, allow my spirit guides to go, hey, wait a minute, before you go jump off this cliff like a lemming, let us show you, Hawkeye, sit down by the fire and just be patient, you know? Yeah, but I feel so tense and I feel that all these things in the world's coming in around me. Hawkeye, yes, shut up and listen. But I've got all these things coming down around me and what am I going to do? Shut up, Hawkeye, and listen. The universe will tell you and show you, but you got to shut up. Well, but all these things are happening and I don't know it. And the world's going to come to an end and shut up. Be quiet and learn to be patient. Why? Because the universe will show you a way out. But if you're whining and bawling and bitching all the time, you ain't going to hear the answer because you're crying and whining and bawling and bitching all the time. You got to be quiet. Well, but all this stuff and yet, and calm down, calm down, you know. But calm down. Of all the things that I can warn you about, calm down. Yeah, but what am I gonna get? And your brain is working so I get it, better calm down. Puff, puff, pass. I got no place to pass it to. Son. Oh, I used to be bad about calming down. Lord have mercy. I'd be like, calm down, Dave. Calm down, Dave. Calm down, Dave. You know, I was horrible. Horrible. So I say, if I can learn how to calm down, y'all can. because I was horrible. You can probably tell that after all these years, I'm still jumping around, and you can probably tell it in my maybe in a previous life of how jumpy I used to be. But Lord have mercy. But to be able, I tell myself, you've been upset, ain't gonna help nothing. See, here's the thing. I can't remember who said this years ago, and it was something about somebody said that Saint Germain said this. Okay, I didn't say this that he said it, but it's okay to get mad. It's okay to get sad. It's okay to cry. It's okay to scream and holler, but only for a short time. So you allow yourself to be mad. Son of a bitch, that mofo got that 15 seconds. Cuss and scream for 15 seconds and get it out. The same thing can be said about being sad and crying. Now, if somebody's passed away or something like that, then, give yourself a little bit more time, but don't give yourself the whole day. All right. That is how I do it too. Very short time. Yeah, go ahead and get mad, but the whole thing is here's your time limit. And people say, well, that doesn't really work. Yes, it does. If you tell yourself, all right, you can be mad. Look at the damn clock. Son of a bitch, I got 15 seconds. Motherfucker, God almighty, that pisses me off so bad. And then be done with it. Now, it can kind of trickle along afterwards. But I've learned after many years of this practicing is that you go, man, I know I'm still mad, but I'm not angry. And I'm not spewing forth stuff. But I'm just because I'm not screaming don't mean I don't, that I'm still not pissed. I'm still pissed. I'm just not screaming. Just wanted y'all to know that. So, but when you can do that, and it took me a long time to get here. But be mad for 15 sec. Oh, okay, 30 seconds. If 15 seconds don't work, go for 30. But the thing is, then quit. Quit being that angry or mad. So, or sad or whatever it is, give yourself that time limit. Because one of the things is that, um, son, it's watching the evil in this world get away. Yeah, because we are human beings. The thing that if, well, you can't get mad, bullshit. Why? Well, because we're human. And we have to allow ourselves to be human, but not go overboard. That's the trick. So you want to be spiritual. Yeah, okay, there's nothing wrong with that. But we're still human, you know. And you say, well, hey, Amber, how you doing? God bless you and Happy New Year to you. So, but, we have to give ourselves because we are human and to try to say, well, I can rise above that. Well, then you're trying to be not human. And that's just like, no, no, no. Hey, Travis, no, we are human, but we control the evil humanity part of it, I guess. The part that will run away with our emotions and we want to clobber somebody because they tick us off or whatever. Happy New Year, Happy New Year. Um, but by giving ourselves time to be human without going overboard, then that's okay in the universe, you know. And over the last several probably about 10 years now, I've kept that in mind. It's like, well, Dave, that I stubbed my toe and I'm screaming and jumping up and down. So I'm going to scream and cuss for 2 minutes, because it really freaking hurts. And it's my choice. And by God, son of a bitch, like I fell down earlier tonight. I slipped and busted my ass. Man, I, I, I cut my wrist somehow right there on the way down over by the stove. But, so I'm like, I want to cuss and scream. That son of a bitch. How did I slide down? But anyway, but to the point though, so if 15 seconds ain't enough, then make it 20, make it 30, make it a minute, but realize that there's a cutoff point and find it within yourself to say, okay, that's enough. All right. And like I said, you could still be mad. You still, but I'm mad at somebody. But so I'm still mad. That don't mean I'm going to forgive them right now for whatever. Somebody just pissed me off, and I'm going to stay pissed off, and I can't forgive them right now because they pissed me off. So, but you can calm down, you know. So, and that's up to you to control. So, like other emotions, it's up to you to control them. My manager busted her butt tonight. Something. So, but in this wonderful realm of stuff that we have control of our emotions, which means that we have, like the song, everybody wants to rule the world. Yeah. Um, and, but and there's a particular way that you can rule the world without being ugly and stuffy and screaming, and you rule the world by staying patient and as calm as possible, during situations, but you stay in control of your emotions, especially when it's, when for me, when I was angry all the time. So had to pull that anger in and take control of it. And instead of being angry, I'd be positive and smiling and joking. And so you change your attitude. It changes your way of thinking. It changes how other people view you. I mean, all of it's all good in the universe of things. And it's all good in the quantum, you know, especially if you want it to, especially if that's what you're working on. So if your intent is there, so, I can put up a tent just about anywhere. So I'm going to put intent right there. But in this new world of stuff, why is self hypnosis then important at all going forward? All right. Now, for myself, now that I realize what I'm doing, it's like, woo, neat. Let me see if I can do a little more of that. I need to send more reinforcement and than I have been for getting my back support. Um, so I, not necessarily ask the universe, but sort of, and putting it out there. Say, okay, back, you're gonna feel better in the morning. All right, lower back, tomorrow you're gonna be stronger than you were today. So send these messages down there because I haven't been doing that. And you say, well, what difference does that make? Well, I'm putting intent out for other people, but because I feel selfish if I do it for myself. But at the same time, it's been 9 months and I need to get on with this. I got stuff I want to do. And so, with pain and aggravation with my back, I need to be more proactive. So, how can I do that without letting ego get in the way? I send positive thoughts down my spine, and we got to work on this. Tomorrow's going to be stronger. You're going to be stronger tomorrow. So I'm going to put these simple um, post hypnotic suggestions into my brain while I'm sleeping, that when I wake up in the morning, my back is going to be stronger than it was today. It only has to be that much stronger. Yeah. Oh, thank you. Thumbs up too. So, there are ways around this thinking thing. I got a friend of mine who's passing a kidney stone, and God forbid I've not had to go through that. But so you be drinking all kinds of stuff, hoping that that thing will dissolve and that it'll pass on out. And Lord have mercy, when it gets out, you feel so much better, right? So as when your plumbing's clogged up, that don't feel good at all. Like I said, it's easier to con someone than something. It goes away really quick to con someone than to convince them that they have been conned. Yeah, that is true. Absolutely. Absolutely. And you can go ahead and con them, because as a carny, growing up a carny, there were times when somebody said, "What? Yeah, I just conned you and you didn't even know." you know, it just right over your head. So don't worry about it. P.T. Barnum. Yeah, there's a sucker born every day. Yep. I think that's something around what he said, but yeah. I know I've talked about this before, but I was thinking about, what the high striker is. All right, it's the big mallet, and you hit it and ring the bell. High striker. Well, me and my wimpy little self, I learned how to do it with one hand. I've talked about this before, but I was thinking about this earlier. In that, here's because I was splitting wood outside and using one hand to split these logs. And I was like, I remember this when I used to, ring the bell. Now I'm splitting firewood. But it's still useful after all these years. And I was thinking how many times I coerced these big tough guys to have it out with me. In other words, I can do this with one hand. Can you? You know, and standing up to these guys, 6'4", and me being, uh, back then I was like 160 pounds soaking wet with rocks in my pockets. And these guys were 225 easy, football players and all, and so I'm trying to coerce them into betting against me. I can ring the bell with one hand. Can you? Put up your money and let's ring the bell. So, in the fact that I used to coerce them into this, knowing what I knew, like I'm gonna whoop this guy's ass. Ding, 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 ding. you know, I'm really gonna take advantage of this clown. There's a fool born every day. There's a moron born every day. But anyway, that's what I was thinking of, is convincing people to play a game with me. And of course they came to the carnival. I didn't go to them. But I made a decent living as a carny barker. Not rich, but made a living at it, and thought I was going to be a carny barker. And but the that kind of thing has sort of died out now after all these years. But I'm going to finish this little 420 bowl here, and then I'm going to call it quits with y'all. But I wanted to put it out there about this being the hypnotic thing. Um, it's more simple than it is complicated. Read about different techniques, but the laying down and the learning how to float and the meditative part is a really, but whatever else you learn from somebody else, you're going to find that it's pretty good stuff. Bet you have seen some Hobo code. Yes, as a matter of fact. What's it's sort of like, there was something it was like the code of the West, and it was like, you helped a lady cross the street. It was the code of the West, and you helped a lady down from the carriage because it was the code of the West. Everything was, it was the code of the West. You don't shoot people in the street. It was the code of the West. I wished I could remember what funny Western that was because it was the code of the West. But so yeah, and that's sort of honor, you know. Uh, was watching something recently, and I think it was about pirates or something. It was like, well, pirates have honor. No, they don't. Honor among thieves. Nah, I'm a thief. Good gracious, there's honor among thieves. Bananas. You stole, I'm gonna steal. Forget it. But but with this, being able, when you start to understand that you can have these conversations with yourself. So when I was on all this medication, because I was talking to myself, but self was talking to me, and I had, the little devil was sitting over here hollering in my ear to do this stuff, and you have to learn how to say no, you know, go to hell, you know. And so that's when I started listening to my spirit guides, my angel folk, and going, these folks have got some good, you know, they give me good information. If I listen to these folks over here and up to that way, how I see them, how I perceive it, what that energy and information that comes that way might be channeling to some people, but that they have never steered me wrong. Never, ever. Now, a couple of years ago, there was another entity that got in the way and we had some miscommunication, but since then, everything's been right on. And so, hey, Freeman, how you doing? So this idea that if you listen to yourself and you listen honestly, you can't, oh, well, somebody owes me something, or somebody, I should be getting this from the universe, or, I used to be in that a lot myself. In that, I got, and I did get a raw deal when I first got on my Social Security. A lot of us baby boomers did. We got cheated. But all I could do was be mad about it. We got cheated. I got cheated. I should be making more every month, and I should blah, 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 and so. But I had to reach a point a couple of years ago where it's like, this is what you got dealt. Yeah, but I should have got better. I should have done. Yeah, shut up. you know, be happy with what you got. Be grateful for what the universe gives you. Yeah, but I should have been getting $300 away. Shut up, Dave. Be happy and lucky with what you got. But, shut up. So, what you do is, because I was keeping myself all excited and upset about the fact that I honestly should have gotten $300 or $400 a month more, it's too late now. It's not going, bitching about it and being mad after, several years now is not going to do, it hasn't done a bit of good. So, what I have learned over the last several years now is to thank you for what I do get and make do. That's what's the answer? You make do. And I have made do, and I save a little bit every month, and I've gotten really good at saving a little every month, and I've helped a couple of other of my friends out, And, and I really don't make that much more a month, but I'm a lot richer because I've learned how to save and how to live within my means. And me and and the cats get along, and we have what we need, and we're grateful for what we have. But can I go down and buy whatever I want or do whatever? No, but at the same point, I can save up for it if I want something. So, I do have some hospital bills and stuff I got to pay uh, the first of the year because I let them carry over, and I really shouldn't have, but I did, and I will get to them. You made do, and you made poo. Well, I made some poo in the process too, but there's a point where for myself, it just like I'm used to make 3 times as much a month as I do now, right? And so crying over spilt milk just it don't work, right? So, whoa, in my lifetime, and it's hard not to reflect. Well, I used to make $12 an hour, and I used to make $17 an hour, and then I made almost $20 an hour, and and I used to make this much a week as I'm making a month, and no, shut up, because I ain't gonna make that, and it's okay now. It's okay. It took me. I still get a little pissed off every once in a while, but to the point though, it doesn't do any good. I got a $30 raise this year, $30 per month, I think. It's not much, but okay. I'm grateful for whatever I get. Right? I'm grateful that I still get a check. I'm grateful that the checks don't bounce. So as long as them checks are coming in, I can deal with what I need to through the month. So we do the best we can. That's all we can do. So, but it's the same thing with information from the universe. So you're looking for answers from the universe. Yeah, okay. Well, you did your meditation, you did your self hypnosis thing, and you're looking with your third eye, and you're asking the universe to give you some answers here and to kind of give you some, a little bit of guidance or whatever. And so something comes to you, and you go, "What the fudge was that? What was that?" And you got your eyes closed and something comes through and you go, "I mean it. What the fudge was that?" There's some kind of crazy thought comes through your head and you're like, wake you up, open your eyes and go, "What the fudge was that?" And it might be the wildest thing in the world. And so that what you have to do is kind of just settle back into it and allow whatever that fudge that was. Because obviously, if your brain brought it in from the universe, it's worth looking at. Now, it might just be some dumbass something that came across your thoughts, but it might be something that you go, something might show up tomorrow, the next day in the news or something, or in a podcast, and you go, "Wait a minute, I just had this flooded thought the other day, and it was the same subject that these folks are talking about now." Now you say, "Well, Hawkeye, what difference does that make?" What difference does that make is that you got a message from the universe. And a couple of days later, or the next day, or whatever, that you got confirmation of that little glimpse of whatever you got. It might not make any sense to you at the time because it's a what the fudge moment. But then when the topic comes up 2 days later and you go, "Oh, you know what? I did disappear for a while. Um, but what you see a couple of days down the line, or maybe it's a week or whatever, but then you see that which came across you while you're in your trance. What does that mean? It means that you're connecting your conscious and your subconscious to the quantum. You're allowing the quantum to talk to you. So something came in, it was a thing. There, I saw this thing with people roller skating. Okay. And then 2 or 3 days later, there's something, somebody invites you to go to a roller rink for a birthday party. And you go, whoa, that was weird. I just dreamed about roller skating the other day, or something like that. So, whatever it is, so you say, well, Hawkeye, what difference does it make? The difference is you start learning how to take the information that's coming out of the quantum and you go roller skates, huh? So I wonder, so then you start honestly, consciously going roller skate, huh? I wonder where that idea come from. I got a friend of mine, they like to roller skate a lot. And then come to find out that it's her boy or somebody that's having a roller skate birthday party, so but anyway, so that's a poor analogy, but it's not, because you have a thought and it crosses your mind and it comes out of the quantum, the ether. So the more you learn, the more things that come out of the ether and that you learn to pick up, and then you learn how to deal with whatever those things. And not everything's going to matter. Not every time do you have a thought that comes across. It might just be a thought, but it might matter later on in that, I had this thought a couple of days ago, and I could see where this could still work or something. So it depends on what's going on in your life, but keep yourself open to it. And by keeping that third eye open to the universe, there's a lot of stuff that you'll see without seeing it. You'll perceive it. Being in that trance state of that self hypnosis and floaty state, that's a trance like state. Okay. And so you're putting yourself out there, not to say that you're looking to channel another entity, but I would say, like for myself, that you channel your own self. You channel you. Well, but my folks ain't me, but you know, and they'll have a chat with you. And like for myself, I don't ask for names because you want to learn what their energy feels like. You want to learn what the entity that's staying, that who is my guardian angel. I want to know what that energy feels like. I want to know that entity's what it feels like. So I don't have to know what the name is. I know what the energy is. So my energy and my folks are here and we're having a conversation. And so I don't have to know names. Peter, Paul, and Mary. Hi, how you doing? Simon and Garfunkel, don't care. But the energy that I feel, that I have connected with over the years, that's what's important, you know, so that you get comfortable with your own energy, your own connection to the quantum. It's not somebody else's. You figure it out. You'll feel it. But by doing I've been attacked. What? I figured song put a flute on melody. What? I think we all have a something. But so learn how to use it. And there are Think we all have soul tribe outside this hoping we get to, yeah. In my thinking and prayers and so forth, the cons there are people who think out of the box. And I've said this years ago and haven't said it recently, but in my construct, there is no box to think out of. So other people are still trying to think out of the box because some of this stuff is like really way new to them. Whereas some of these things for me, I've been practicing for 60 years. Not bragging, just fact. So learn how to do these simple things. I know there are folks that go, well, I don't know, but sounds kind of silly to me, and I don't know whether or not I should really do this, and blah 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 blah. Well, it's up to you. Ain't nobody like trying to twist your arm into doing any of these things. It's up to you if you want to learn how to utilize your third eye and to utilize your God-given talents to the best way possible. No brag, just fact from is that the Sons of Will, the Sons of Will sonnet? Is that what it? I think it was in something else too, and I can't remember what. No brag, just fact. Yeah, Western. Yeah, I have said that myself. Wire. I've said that myself. No brag, just fact. You know, 60 years of doing this, no brag, just fact. But when you learn how to utilize it, it comes in handy in a lot of different ways. It gives you when you learn how to reassure yourself in situations in life if you need it, or to calm your bloody nerves when you want to be, I was taking nerve pills and Valium and whatever because I was going crazy. No, to learn how to calm your own mind down without any kind of drugs, to come out for alcohol and to deal with those things on your own, and but to make up your mind to do it. I don't want to drink anymore. I am tired of waking up with my head in the toilet. I don't want to drink anymore. I want to learn how to get by every day without being an alcoholic. And here I am, but I got a couple of friends of mine who can't put the bottle down, won't put it down. Friend of mine the other day, I told him, I said, for my New Year's resolution for you is for you to finally quit drinking. Oh well, I quit smoking weed before I quit drinking. Okay, all right, but okay, didn't smoke that much anyway. But that's not the point. It's the old man Walter Brennan said that. Oh yeah, Walter Brennan, he was crazy. He was yeah. Yeah, Grandpappy Amos and the girls and the boys, and the family known as the real McCoys. Before Walter Brennan played in the real McCoys, he'd played in several westerns, and I mean, he'd played with like John Wayne and some other big timers. So Walter Brennan, yeah. But anyway, y'all got me, off on a tangent. Not that it matters now, but the self hypnosis thing, is anything spiritual that any of y'all decide that you want to be spiritual? How much spiritual, how much do I want to learn? How much do I want to see how much I can connect with the universe? How much, This is sort of like channeling with your own spirit guides. It is, without going into a full-fledged channeling, like, you know, talking to different uh, one person was speaking, with a British accent, another was sort of an Aussie type accent, but to distinguish them between their just normal voices. But the idea, though, that somehow that's what they felt within themselves that they had to do in order for this entity to speak through them in channeling. But it was what was said, not how it was said, that I had to listen to. And I was like, oh my goodness, wow, that message is something we've been talking about for quite some time now. So even though this person has gone into this English accent to say it, the words are true. The message is good. The message is actually, it's great. It's not hogwash. They say something like, the message for, for my brothers and sisters is that we all need to learn to get along because we are all connected in the universe. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that, you know. And we as, my spirit, I am telling you that this vessel is trying to help, all mankind to learn to work together and to be together and okay, there's nothing wrong with that message and want to work together and be together. Nothing wrong with that. So these folks that I've listened to recently, and now I don't know how long ago they channeled this stuff, but the fact that what they have said, regardless of how, right, is like been a good positive message. So here I am, have said the same things in a different way, but said the same things. The message is the same without listening to them out there. But I've been listening to the quantum. I've been listening through my self hypnosis. I've been listening, to the Bowery boys up there. They got a kick out of that one. The Bowery boys. If you've ever never watched the Bowery boys, you should. That, under the Brooklyn Bridge kind of thing. Used to watch and love Ma and Pa Kettle. Yeah, yeah. There's some of the skits that they did, Ma and Pa Kettle, you just literally have to see, you know. But the stuff that the Bowery Boys did, under the Brooklyn Bridge, there was one where there was the Bowery Boys was with Bella Lugosi, and there was some kind of monster or something going on. There was one I think with Frankenstein, and maybe one with the Bowery Boys meets the Wolfman or something. But their comedic timing, the ghost one, yeah, the Bowery Boys, yep, under the Brooklyn Bridge, yeah. But anyway, yeah, them guys that the old comedy, you know, um, oh, I'll think of him here in a minute because he's how do I forget the names of some of my favorite comedians or whatever, um, but you know Harold Lloyd back in the day, Charles Chaplin, of course, um, Laurel and Hardy, some of the Phil Silver. Oh, good one. Oh, that was a good one. Yeah, Phil Silver was funny, and he pushed the envelope too. There were some things that I remember, they were always trying to get a date, and there was, going to line up somebody, and the nurses and hubba hubba, and there was a lot of that stuff that was really edgy. The double entendres, the Phil Silvers, him and his guys, they really pushed that. Um, there was McHale's Navy, uh, Bear, Bear, Maybear. I can't read the rest. I don't have my glasses on. I don't want to put them on. Cheat. But McHale's Navy, they didn't push as much as Phil Silvers did. Is my sort of, and they were in the same kind of venue. They were Army kind of deal. Blah blah blah. But yeah. Um, oh God, McHale's Navy now. Because they had. I can't remember his name, but Ernest Borgnine, yeah. Okay, so I can't remember his name, but they had a little Japanese guy that they adopted right on the island, and they kept hiding him in what was this little Japanese guy's name? Do you remember? Because it's like I can't remember, but every time the colonel would come up or whatever, they had to hide the little Japanese guy. Nowadays, to do that in a in a sitcom, are you kidding? We're going to hide the little Japanese guy. Are what? Just think about it. And I mean, none of us thought anything about it. We thought it was funny. And I mean, there was Hop Sing during in Bonanza. uh Red Skelton. Oh God, Red Skelton. Yeah, he was one of my favorites. Absolutely. Gertrude and Heathcliff's. The two seagulls. you know and some of his stuff got a little risque too. But you had to, he would give this little wink, nod, something, and kind of snicker. And Gertrude and Heathcliff's. But Lasso, Mr. Cartwright. Yeah, that's all right. But anyway, yeah. So, but Hop Sing, he was a big part of Bonanza and the family, and it's like you couldn't do Bonanza now with Pop Sing. You know what I mean? That would be, oh, you couldn't do that. It would be the wrong pronoun. And it would be belittling to, the Chinese cook's story thingy. Oh, God Almighty. So many things that, used to be, and to me, it was like they gave this Chinese guy a job. you know, they made him part of the family, and his name was Hop Sing. I did not see anything wrong with that, but people nowadays would go, "Oh, you not have Chinamen, work in the kitchen." Well, why not? They cook really well. I love Chinese food, and a lot of the men that I have gotten some of my best China, house fried rice was done by men with a wok, shut up. So, but anyway, in this righteousness era, just looking at some of the stuff, the way it used to be and the way it is now. Oh, goodness gracious. And so, to my point, I think I'm trying to make was, Hop Sing with Bonanza wasn't that bad. Was it really? Oh my God, that we were picking on the chink? Yeah, I said it. They were picking because that's what people are going to say. Oh, you were picking on the Chinaman dude. You mean the chink? I can't believe you said it. Well, you were thinking it, but you just didn't say it. But no, I don't mean anything bad by it or who it was. I think, in Hollywood or whatever, that, that this guy got a paycheck every week, you know, by playing this character on Bonanza with all these other, wonderful actors. Mm, I didn't see anything wrong with it, you know. So in life at times, there are stuff that it's like, well, how come people get mad at how it used to be? I I can't remember who it was. It was oh, do any of you I can't remember his name. And one of these days I'm going to watch Charlie Chan, okay? There are he had a black chauffeur, Charlie Chan. What? Oh, love Charlie Chan and his black show. Oh, you wrote it down before I could get to it. But there was another character, and I'm thinking about in one of the episodes, and Mr. Wong Boris Karloff too. Yeah, there was one of them that they were on a ship, and there was another one too where they went out to a house that was way out in the country or something. But anyway, so there was the black chauffeur, but then there was also this taller, thinner black gentleman who played like on the ship. He was a porter. So there was Mr. Wong that worked for Charlie Chan, and then there was this other black gentleman. Well, when the two of them got together and started talking back and forth, that is still some of the funniest shit today. Oh my God. They talked back and forth and they understood only themselves. That's right. And they'd say, "You remember? Yeah, yeah, I remember her. Did you see how? Uh-huh. You know, but here's the thing. I have known people like that, especially black people, two black gentlemen that I knew in Moultrie. And the two of them would do exactly what those two guys do in those episodes of Charlie Chan. It is precious. It is great. Folks actually do that now, not so much today as they used to, but back in the day, you'd see a couple of them guys sitting on a park bench, up at around Moultrie or some of these other places, and one ride by, and they, "Hey Charlie, how you do? You talk to Mabel? Yeah. So yep, Friday's okay. All right." And they'd have a conversation. There'd be paragraphs in just one or two words. It was amazing. But yeah, I'm going to find out who. It was sort of like Jack Benny and his what was his sidekick. You know, and people say, well, you Jack Benny made fun of him. Well, the other guy made fun of Jack Benny. It was a two-way street, and it had nothing to do with them being black, you know? It had to do with him being his butler or whatever, and the fact that he would, got on each other's stuff. Rochester, thank you very much. They knew the answers before. Yeah, they knew the answers. Yeah. But to listen and to watch people do that, talk about being in the quantum. I mean, that's being in tune. And really, seriously, I'm not trying to make this up. They're really in tune when they can answer each other as quick as they do. And you say, well, but what's that got to do? Uh, to be in tune with yourself and the quantum and someone else, and they're in tune with you like that, that's a great thing. You have, you have achieved the pinnacle. Folks, there are some folks that live their whole lives that try to achieve even half of that. And there are some people who can do it leisurely. You know, that's what I love about some of these. I've not seen black women do it, but they can. But old black men, for some reason, versus teenage black men, it's fluid. It's just fluid, and it's great. You know, I've seen a couple old white men do it too, and me and another guy that I know of, we couldn't do the same thing. You know, not not as good. No, I will add, not as good, not as good at all. My friend Randall, that's got the bees. But he and I, we both worked radio, and he'd work one shift, and I usually came in on second shift or third, depending on. But it usually worked like 5 to closing, or till 12 or 1. And so and there were times when he worked during the week, and I relieved him on the weekends. So, but Randall and I, we worked radio, we worked in theater together, and after all these years, we're still alive. He has survived, open heart surgery, and he's survived cancer, colon cancer, and having his guts removed and put back together again. So, but he used to be an auctioneer, and he can talk a mile. He, sold American, and so he can talk in the double talk, and I try to keep up with him. I love all film noir. It's about, oh, it is coming up on a 420. Well, I have to get something out if I'm going to stay out with you. I was only going to stay for a little over an hour, and it's stretched into 2. Not that I mind hanging out with you, but um, there's been some strange energy buzzing around, and not that it's been bad, but it's been strange. Also, I did a pretty good bout of cutting firewood today, and I'm a little tired. Um, I have made up my mind that um, it seemed to always be Friday when I think about time. Rosemary and thyme. Remember me to one who lives there. She once was a true love of mine. Tell her to buy me a cambric shirt. Parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme. Remember me to one who lives there. She once was a true love of mine. You need to get splitting wood too. Yeah, the logs that I split or cut 3 weeks ago when I cut the tree down and then sawed it up. I'm almost ready. I cut it in about 1 foot length, and it's hard oak. It's good solid oak, and I cut it in about 1 foot lengths, so it's easier to split. But even so, with my no, it took me half an hour to find my splitting maul. But with my splitting maul and all, Um, it still took, two good hits to bust those 1 foot chunks up, which sort of surprised me. They've been sitting out there in the sun drying out, but man, it still took a pretty good punch to split that wood up, which is good. I mean, it's good. It's good hardwood, and it's still burning over there in the heater. So I don't have a big blaze and fire going, but that's what I like about this coal stove thing going on. Um, I cut the wood into chunks. I cut the wood into chunks, you know, rather than logs, and it burns like coal. It burns really good. Yes, I have to cut them into smaller pieces, but in my old age, it's easier to carry these small logs than it is to carry a log that's twice as wide. And when I had my box heater, I was carrying, 18-inch logs in and throwing them in, and that was heavy and it was bad on my back. And now I throw in chunks, and the chunks burn just fine. I thought it was going to burn more wood, but it doesn't. So I really like it's a coal heater, coal, COAL, coal heater that I only burn wood with. So my heater back over here, but it's been doing really well. And I got to go cut some more oak down. I should have cut some of these trees down earlier, and I'm gonna have to get on it because the cold weather ain't over. If I some of the trees that I need to cut down that are just in the way, I should have cut them down sooner. But even if I cut them down tomorrow, the next day, or this week, um, we're still going to have cold weather into March. We always do. So that still gives me wood later on in the season. What is the best burning tree? The best showing up for is oak. Absolutely oak. There's now if you can get pecan wood um, or walnut or something like that, it burns, but it's really hard to cut and you can't split it. Okay, but it will make some hellacious coals. However, it will snap and pop. But as far as just regular showing up, burn good, um, more BTUs in it. I get the oak is still by far. Now there's red oak, white oak, there's live oak, okay? And this tree that's out there now is a live oak. We're actually part of it's in here now. But so there are different types of oak. And there are some folks that I talked to who said that it's 20. Yep. That they like to burn cherry wood. And I don't. I think burning cherry wood is a waste. Do they have acorns on them? Only when it's time. The tree that I cut down did not have acorns on it. It would have had acorns on it next year, but I cut it down. Now, the next other tree I would say would be maple. We've got some maple trees here on the property, and I have cut them down over the years and have pulled some limbs out of the woods and stuff. Maples, it tries to me, it tries a little ash. Um, they're in my brain there are different types of ash. Now maybe I'm wrong. Um, but we've got some ash down here in like a black gum tree that's down here in the swamp, and they're hard as nails. And it takes a while for them to dry. And I got some Chinese elm out here that I've got limbs that I cut down last year, and they're just as hard as a rock now as when I cut the limbs last year. So slippery elm. I took some black tea one, added parsley, sage, and made some good tea. Yep. But so anyway, but if you got pine, only if you have to, you know, pines last on the list to burn, and I got a lot of pine, and I can't burn it, but at least not in the house. But oak is the easiest to get to, but black gum trees, they a lot of black gum will have a core down the middle. Some bigger than others, but um, and if I'm not mistaken, there's one tree I'm trying to I'm wishing I knew the the inside is sort of yellow, and it's an interesting wood. You really have to dry it out. It does not like to split, but when you do split it, it will burn with a little bit of snap crackle, not much. And that might be because it just wasn't dry enough when I put it in the heater. But it burned similar to oak, but not quite as good. Now, oak, it also depends on how dry the wood is too, because if the wood is too dry, um, it'll burn right up. But if the oak is hardened, show enough hardened and seasoned, it'll burn like coal. Well, I don't know how coal burns. Sort of, I do. Um, it'll burn hard in a while. It'll leave some good coals on the bottom. So, but oak generally, and then everything else. Soft wood makes it too smoked. Yeah, you do not. My grandpa used to do the black gum. Did I say black gum? Yeah, pine. There's too much creosote in it, and you can start a fire in your chimney or your pipes. Right, exactly. Too much residue. You just, that's what's wrong with pine. Now, if you have to burn pine, make sure that it's really dry. If you gotta, and because there have been times down here in the swamp, I got a bunch of pine trees down, and a bunch of limbs and things, and I could just go around and just collect stuff, and it would be enough to heat me all winter long. But the amount of creosote and the amount of pine tar that's in the pine tree, uh, that I would have to worry about it will collect on the pipes, and then you can get a fire inside your pipes, or your chimney. You can have a chimney fire, and chimney fires will scare the crap out of you. Black Nanny raised me something. I'm good. A black Nanny raised you. That sounds like a good thing. Could she bake some biscuits? And I mean that with all utter respect. So we got, ooh, I passed to the 25, and here I am yapping still. So it's like talking about self hypnosis some more and the conscious between the conscious and subconscious in splitting wood today, and in talking about what I was talking about, the high striker, and coercing these guys to hit the ring the bell, and I could do it with one arm. I can still um, sling um, the splitting maul the same way that I did that hammerhead back in the days in the on the carney. Okay. Now, why is that important? It's because I remember still how to do it. And now I got to get back into practice because I haven't been splitting much wood this season yet. But by able to use that pendulum swing and the amount of force when you come down to split that wood, um, you have to trust your instincts. And that's one of the things. Is like, I can hit the same spot twice in a row with this big wide arc, and where it still freaks me out that I can do it. But the thing is though, your brain has already figured out how fast you need to swing it, which way to swing it, and the whole thing is that your third eye is seeing this. Well, what's that got to do with self hypnosis? Because you have to say a little prayer when I go out to split. I'm like, okay, close my eyes for a minute and allow my body to see it. Allow my brain to see it. And then I look at the log and I have one log on top of another log. I have my base log and then the log that I'm going to split. But then when I start using when I uh, swing the pendulum with the splitting maul, it's really coming around, boom, when it splits, when it hits. So, but you just have to trust in the universe. And that's sort of where your subconscious and your conscious are working together. Because if I think about it too much, I'm going to miss the log that I'm trying to split. I literally just have to let it go. And so in the self hypnosis, you tell yourself to let it go. I'm not going to worry about. I'm going to hit it every time. Boom. The self hypnosis is okay. I'm going to swing this thing again, and I'm going to hit it in the same spot. Boom. So where does self hypnosis come in? It comes in handy. We're splitting wood. I mean, the idea that it's only good for certain things is not true. So as you learn how to use self hypnosis in these different ways in your life, you're going to find that it's damn convenient, especially at times when you go, wow, I didn't know that this would actually work. Yeah, watch this. You can learn to do things with your eyes closed, and that's part of your self hypnosis. That you train yourself to allow yourself. You have to convince yourself to believe. You have to convince yourself with your self hypnosis to believe and to have faith. Yep, that's true. So, and I will continue to believe and to have faith in that each and every one of you will continue to learn how to accept and receive the knowledge, the healing, the wisdom, and the many blessings in the universe. So I hope in some way that this has been beneficial to you, because it's absolutely, if regardless of what path you're on, you take care of yourself, Steve. So whatever path you're on, whatever religion you are, whatever it is that you're doing in life, to learn the self hypnosis thing that I just talked about and being able to connect your conscious with your subconscious also connects you with your spirit. So because your subconscious is your spirit, and so is your conscious, but it's all connected. But as you learn to do one thing, it will teach you how to be connected in other ways. It's exponential. So before someone will poo poo it and say, well, I don't know if this is for me. Okay, you know, but before you say it's stupid or worthless, you should give it a try because it ain't hard. It doesn't take up any time and it can be very beneficial to you. That's like hitting those, I couldn't read it all. Railroad spikes of a twist in the small. Yes, hitting a small, yeah, hitting the railroad spikes. Yep. Well, it's like, a good carpenter, that's got a 16 penny nail and one to it, and I've noticed myself that I don't have to look at it. Once I get the first couple, I can drive that nail home without looking at the nail. And there are guys, "Hey, how you doing?" and drive a 16 penny nail home, you know. And then there are folks who like boom, 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 boom. They have to watch the nail in order to hit it every time on the head. It's like I said, back it's been several months ago now when I was busting up cement over there on where I'm trying to build my porch, and I had a chisel in my hand and I had a 3-pound sledgehammer, and I'm hitting the end of this chisel, and I'm not even looking at it. And I mean, I'm slinging this 3-pound hammer, bam, 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 bam. I'm looking where where the chisel is on the cement, but I'm not looking at where the hammer hits the chisel. And I looked down at my hand one time and I thought, if I miss, it's going to hurt. And I only missed once or twice in all the hours that I beat on this chisel with the concrete. So, can you, does it matter? Absolutely. And when you learn that, especially repetitious moves, that, oh my God, how am I doing this without hurting myself? How can I hammer a nail in and not really have to look at it? How can I do this thing over here without really paying attention? How can I split wood with it? It's all of these things relate with the fact that your conscious mind and your subconscious mind is working together to do the task. It's not just one. And your subconscious mind is what is controlling your limbs. It's what's controlling the speed of the maul. It's what's controlling the speed of your hammer if you're driving a nail. It's the whatever it is that you're doing. So the connection between your conscious and your subconscious mind really matters in all things, especially, you know, the really important stuff. But you'll find that it matters in all things in just stuff that you're doing. So, but anyway, I love you all at 2 hours and almost 20 minutes. So there's a 20. I'm going to take a hit off of this and say adios for now. I got to plug my cell phone back in. And I also got things to do tomorrow, and I don't want to stay up all night. So, which I have a tendency to do. So, I love you. Please be safe and reconsider, if you haven't already, the subject that I just brought up, and read somebody else. uh, I read some paperbacks back in the early 70s about this, and it was very good information and very simple. I'm sure that you can find some text out there and somebody who will discuss how they might do the self hypnosis. But Be safe, my friends. I love you. And I do continue to pray that each and every day. Hope to meet you one day, Dave. Yeah, that would be cool. I'm still here down here in the South. You know, you can come go fishing with me anytime. I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it anywhere else, but I'm working on that too. So be safe. But yep, anytime. Georgia. Yep, South Georgia. Yep. I'm going to try to get some stuff together so I could travel some, but maybe not necessarily to Kentucky, you know, but I could travel some. But yeah, I'm in South Georgia at the moment. But yeah, and I'm working on my bass boat, putting the lights on it. I figured out how to do it now, and so today I would have put the lights on the boat today, but I ended up cutting firewood instead. It's chilly outside, so fireplaces or firewood is more important than fixing the lights on the bass boat. But anyway, and it's just a little tiny little bass boat. It ain't nothing big, but so I do continue to pray that each and every day, that each and every one of you will continue to learn to accept and receive, no fooling, the knowledge, the healing, the wisdom, and the many blessings out there in the universe. That quantum is full of information. And when you learn to connect with your conscious, subconscious, the quantum will flood you with all kinds of information. And you'll have to learn how to discern that information that you get. But that's fun too. So, you know, it's always fun to learn, find out what's going on. They give you flashes, all kinds of stuff, and you go, what the fuck was that? So, let's all remember to be positive in 2024 so that we can take care of things, take care of business, and we can lift the spirit of the rest of humanity. I'm looking forward to that and see how that works. So until next time, I love you. Be safe. Adios. Yep. Are you sure you want to stop? Yep. Until next time, Wire. It's good to see you.